Detroit Lions were shut off another list. This time, the NFL Network did a list made up of the top players in the NFL 25 and under. Let's talk about it. We back. Murder City Sports Talk. We in the building. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, bell icon button, share the video. And, yeah, man, it's unfortunate. I think we got some really good young talent in Detroit that's 25 and under. Tracy Walker is another guy I forgot to leave off, put on the list or in the picture. But it was spearheaded by Patrick Mahomes, and how they did the list, it wasn't like the top 10 or 12, best players. They did it by position: quarterback, running back, all the way to a flex who Darwin James was the flex. And once again, when you don't win, your organization haven't consistently won, and you're not getting no Sunday night games, you're not making playoff runs, a lot of your players get griped off that list. They get swiped off, So what's the biggest issue, as far as us not making the list? Is simply just winning. But I do think, other than harping on that, the problem is defensively, it's the schematics. I think Walker is one of the, best safeties in the league. I don't think he's Darwin James yet. But as far as young guys, he should be in the conversation. Deshaun Hand, only reason he didn't make the list is because he wasn't healthy last season. Ragnow, he missed out to a 22-year-old guy from the New Orleans Saints. I think Ragnow, could have made a name for the list. But the Saints, they make playoff runs. They win games. They got big games every Sunday, Monday night, or whatever it is. We got some guys that are aspiring to be on the list: Armani Urakwe, DeAndre Swift, Jelani Tavai, T.J. Hockenson. It's no shame that the tight end didn't make it. Most rookie tight ends struggle their first year. Now we look for Hockenson to make the year 1 to year 2 jump. But one thing that's hunted this franchise, I'm going to talk about in the middle of this video, is the lack of ability of drafting stars. And what we kind of been in the middle of the draft the last few years, or really outside the top 5 every year. But this year, we've been in the 20s with Taylor Decker. We've been in the 20s before all that with Riley Reeve, Laken Tomlinson. We've been in the 20s, a long time. But out the list, only 14 players that were selected in the first round made this list. Only 14. So it's about 20-something people that was on this list. Guys like Chris Godwin, who was picked in the 3rd round, was on the list. So what is the excuse for the Detroit Lions? But one of the reasons that a lot of these defensive players won't make it is because of the position they put in. Deshaun Hand is a little different. He ain't been healthy. He was healthy, he would have been on this list. I think you looking at him probably trying to make some noise as an all-pro this year. Had he had a good season last year, But with other guys that's on this defense, it's hard to make the list for Tracy Walker because you playing one type of defense and everybody know you playing zone. It's bend, you don't break. And then you're not winning. But I think if it's one person that probably deserved to be on this list, on this team, it probably was Frank Ragnow. But this just shows that the Lions don't draft top-tier talent. If they did, they would have more talent around Stafford, and Stafford would win more. They haven't drafted a star for real since Darius Slade and Ndamukong Suh. They haven't. Tease Tabor, wasted pick. Go even back. Titus Young, Ryan Bros, wasted pick. Amir Abdullah, wasted pick. This team just lacks drafting, and then it lacks the money, and it lacks the image to lure free agents here. You want to know why the Lions losing? It was inability to draft and the inability to develop. They might draft right. Let's say Bob Quinn do draft right. Let's say he took Tavai in. If Tavai went to Oakland, now Las Vegas, and he blew up. I think it's a disconnect. I think drafting, it comes down to two things. You draft a player and you develop them. Development is the position coaches, and then overall the head coach. I think there's a disconnect. I think the Lions have drafted talent over the course of time, but you have to have talent and you have to develop the talent. And I believe a lot of the issue is developing the talent. You could talk about, we could have had, Andre Johnson and Charles Rogers, for example. RP to Charles Rogers, Russell Power, to him. Who's to say Andre Johnson come here and still be the same player that he was? Charles Rogers go to another situation, he'd be a better player. You don't know. You will get marginalized in this league if you're not in the right position fit. And what if the Lions don't have the right system fit for a lot of their players? What if they don't have the right position coaches to develop? What if they ain't teaching and developing the players that they're bringing in? What if that's the big issue? What if you did draft, Michael Thomas here, or Derrick Henry here, and we've seen a lot of great running backs in college, Javi Best, Kevin Jones, come here and they fail? What if it's truly the organization and the lack of development that why these players coming here to fail? What if it's not Bob Quinn not picking the right people? What if it's not Bob Quinn, just being conservative? What if they not developing the talent? Because I can see a few of these dudes being on this list had the Lions done a better job schematically. If Matt Patricia switches defense up more zone and man and be aggressive, I can see Okuda being on that list. I can see Tavai being on that list. I can see Deshaun Linehan being on that list. Had the Lions won more games with Stafford, I could see Ragnow being on that list. If Hockenson take a right step forward this year, I could see him being on that list. If they open up some holes for DeAndre Swift, I could see him being on that list. Amani Rockery, I believe he's going to step in. I think he's a straight baller. I can see him being on that list. But you got to remember, the thing that's going to turn around the Detroit Lions, other than Patricia being able to adjust to his team and do things out of his comfort zone and be more of a team rah-rah guy and be a little bit more flexible and more, versatile in his defense approach. I've been preaching this all offseason. Don't know how many people also agree with me or been preaching it. This team, you know how they say America runs on Duncan? This team runs on first and second year players. God honest truth. If the rookies and the sophomores have great seasons this year and Matthew Stafford stay healthy and Matt Patricia do what he need to do, that could be the difference between 4 or 5 wins and 10 or 11 wins. If Deshaun Hand come in and make a splash, Okuda make a splash, Tavai make a splash and take over, Walker take a splash, Armani get in there and make a splash, you know what I'm saying? A lot of this shit can change. If Hockenson control the middle of the field, if Ragnow gets some help in the interior with Stenberg and Jonah Jackson, all this can change. DeAndre Swift do what he needs to do. This team drastically looks different, and they have to stay healthy. But when you don't win, you don't get the prominent primetime slots. And when you don't win, you don't get to the playoffs, you don't get the primetime spots, people forget about you. You can have a top 25 talent. It's just that nobody sees them because they don't produce on the stage where people can appreciate it. And that's the problem. And for players that's going to stay in Detroit, how they try to get Ndamukong Suh to stay, every time they're going to run up the check because of that. Every time they're going to run up the check. If it wasn't for the franchise tag, nobody stay in Detroit. Stafford probably wouldn't stay, and Ndamukong Suh wouldn't have stayed, and Calvin wouldn't have stayed. So this is why you have to put a winner together. This is why you got to take care of your veterans. This is why you got to pay your players before you get down to the nitty-gritty, get down to the bone. You take care of your players in Detroit because you don't win enough for them to even want to be here. So the Lions got a lot of work to do. They got to change the perception. And once they start winning, you'll see them a lot of guys on the top 100, top 25 and under list and all that type of stuff. But right now, the Lions organization is their own worst enemy. From Martha to Bob down to Matt and the position coaches. I think they draft talent for the most part. We can look back in retrospect and say, well, they should have took him, that guy. Well, if he took that guy and he still failed here. I think they're not developing the talent they got. And they're not getting support from Martha to spend the money to develop the talent that they need to get around them. You feel what I'm saying? So, it is what it is. You can check that list out, NFL.com. Let me know what you guys think. Don't forget, we on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can reach out if you got business question, inquiry, sponsorship, video requests. Keep sharing the videos. Want to make a donation, Cash App, PayPal in the description. Appreciate the love, support, man. Fastest way to reach me is Twitter. So hit me up on Twitter. I'm always there. Facebook is a second. And Instagram, I'm rarely on there. But hey, don't forget to check my other channel, Goodfellas Sports TV, for more sports, music, news, and entertainment. Appreciate the love and support. But let me know what you guys think about the Lions being shut out the 25 and under list. But I do think they got some guys that can make some noise if they was winning. And Patricia put a better defense and structure around the team and develop the players the right way. But hey, we gone. One time for the